What's up, guys? It is Maximilian mostly, and I'm here just to shout into the Netherverse, give you a little bit of idea of who or what I am and why I'm here on YouTube. So I made this image a few days before I made this YouTube account. And while I'm not really getting many views, I think 119 at the most, 0 at the worst. This picture basically sums up how I feel about the state of news media and everyone's efforts to challenge blatant lies and blatant lying, where it's just so obvious there's certain people that you're trying to protect when you're presenting things in an editorial fashion constantly, but pretending like there's fact space around it. And sometimes there are, but there's just so much spin in it. It's just so obvious where the hearts and minds are at. And there needs to be a dialogue between the two. Right now, it's a war. And CNN, BBC, Time, NBC, ABC, CBS, these are the old guard. These are the people that have been there for a long time, since the beginning. CNN, not as much. Some of these are relatively recent, but these are giant networks. Time's been around for a long time. They have a lot of influence, but not as much as the New York Times. The New York Times, for some reason, seems to have the most influence. It's like whenever something they say gets picked up, it is verifiable fact. Like, as if the New York Times always does their fact checking and their reporting is top of the top. And I think this whole PewDiePie Gate situation, I think that really solidified it, that there's an extreme disconnect between the old media and the new media, and they are treating it like a war, with New York Times as the commander-in-chief. They set the narrative, they run the narrative. The Washington Post, you see here, I put them in the foreground because they're leading the charge. Their reputation for investigative journalism is being abused as they go back on things that they were once for, and just becoming another typical social justice rag. As you see BuzzFeed here. BuzzFeed, I didn't even realize it was news, and as soon as I realized they were news, they were getting shit on for fucking the news up. Putting out the Pissgate stuff. They wanted to be Washington Post so bad that they released Pissgate. They wanted that exclusive. They wanted to be taken seriously, and then nope. They just got fucking wrecked. And that's why they're out here on the front lines. You know, they're letting them into the fold. BuzzFeed almost came from a social. It definitely, social media is where it got its huge start. It's kind of like the cool kids dig or Reddit. I'm not a cool kid. AJ Plus, they're also on the front lines. AJ Plus is funded by Qatar. It's Al Jazeera Plus. It's their social justice network. It's basically Mike. It's basically Vox. It's following a lot of that. Now This, probably. I don't see a lot of Now This. These are the people that are most visible to me, and I have changed this once before. Like where the Atlantic is here, I had the Washington Times, and honestly, they don't seem to have that much of an impact. Not anywhere near Washington Post. And Wall Street Journal, I had to put them in after this PewDiePie gate. I didn't realize their influence was as large as it is. They actually had like a more readership, I believe, than the New York Times. And it probably has to do with the Wall Street type stuff. People want to know what Wall Street is thinking. What's the hubbub? What's the buzz? So they actually have a lot of power, and they were able to put this PewDiePie nonsense about him being a Nazi out there. And the New York Times decided to get behind that as well, as I covered in length in one of my longer videos. In the Washington Post, they also almost all of these places got behind that. I'm not sure of a single one that didn't. The Guardian, a place that's supposed to be a guardian for the people, has itself just turned into a shallow clone of the New York Times and the Washington Post. I think it's far better that Glenn Greenwald is writing stuff on the Intercept. I'm pretty sure he was writing for the Guardian before he had the Intercept. I could be wrong on that, but... And that's another thing about these videos. I really don't have time to edit. I know how to edit, and I might do that in the future, but if people aren't watching anyway, why spend time creating huge videos? I do have one editing project that I'm going to do, and that is a documentary about new media, because I don't think a lot of people understand the divide in narrative between the new media and the old media, the legacy media. And there is actually quite a huge divide, which is why I frame this picture also in the context of a war. And their side doesn't really understand our side. While they have tools to block our weapons, such as ultra rare dank memes, that doesn't mean they understand our weapons. They don't understand memes. To them, memes are just supposed to be silly jokes. To us, memes are powerful political packaging. It's a zip file. It's like a piece of candy. It's like shooting a piece of candy at someone. At the surface, it seems very harmless, but too many of them, too fast, and you might rot your teeth out. And so that's why we're shooting the memes here, and they're just, this Vox, they're shooting the YouTube gun. Subscribe. Huffington Post is shooting the Facebook gun. Like. Huffington Post is where I really started understanding them through Facebook, which I no longer do. But I shared a lot of articles to them, and they seem to do very well on Facebook. Back in the day, I really feel that's how they got as big as they are, is just because they have really shareable links and titles. Vox, while all these are on all social networks, Vox really, tries to make the videos real slick and hip and everything, and Mike's just kind of like a, clone of that. And then you have Salon and The Hill, just kind of basic bitch magazines that kind of just parrot all these other guys, but try to, find their own little exclusive scoop and be extreme. Salon, known for pedophile stories until the Milo situation was happening, they decided to delete those articles that were supportive of pedophilia. Imagine that. The Hill is just a place I love trolling because they're just so silly. And then you have USA Today and Yahoo News sitting at the back, sitting at the sidelines observing. Yahoo News, I give them a lot of shit because they're always fucking popping up. I'm always seeing their little things. Just, you have one mail account and then they want to send you all this fucking news and literally tell you in the first paragraph what they want you to think. It's fucking pathetic. But all their articles, almost all the research is just done by other news organizations, and they just kind of like forward those points and just like, us too, guys, us too. And USA Today, same bullshit. No one really cares about these places as news organizations. But they have reach and they have influence. If you have a Yahoo Mail account, they're sending you their news. They're sending you their influence. Up here you have the AP, Associated Press, and they kind of supply a lot and back up a lot of this stuff. AP has a lot of inside connections, and they contribute to a good amount of reporting and news. And these are all things that I'm going to get facts for. What I'm going to do in this documentary is really show the state of news as it exists and as it is changing because of the catalyst of Trump, and then the even more extreme moment of him actually winning because they hedged their bets. They were willing to put everything on the line and lie their hearts out to keep this man out of office. That doesn't mean everything they said was lies about him. That doesn't mean Trump is a great guy or anything like that. But they went overboard because they knew, while this is not true, they knew that if they used their power and influence, they could make us think anything, and they could literally put a warmonger in office and make her look like she's some like progressive, amazing person, which is the complete opposite of reality. And I think a lot of Democrats know that too, but they just hate Trump so much, and most of this hate is just from reinforced headlines from all of these fuckers here. And I was talking to people today at work, and they didn't even realize that the power grid wasn't hacked by Russia. They didn't know. And I had to Google it and show them, look, here's all these liberal sites saying it didn't happen. Washington Post misreported it based on faulty evidence. But it doesn't matter because they all spread the lie. They all spread this reporting. None of them fact-checked. They have no integrity. These people wish they could be Philip DeFranco, and he is the dad of the new media, in my opinion. I think he's really setting the paradigm. He has this combination of reach, credibility, because of what he's accomplished in his past with SourceFed and with his own station. I didn't know he was behind SourceFed. I used to watch it. I thought it was an entertaining way to do news. It was fun. It got a little, got on my nerves a little bit at some point just because the personalities are just too peppy and positive. And I think that's what I like about Philip DeFranco. He's willing to be whatever emotion the news makes him feel. And he does his damn research. Sometimes I may come to a different conclusion than him based on a small piece of research that I saw, and he didn't. But at the same time, some of those places, even though I saw that one little piece of research that made me think differently, he might have looked at like 10, 20 different articles. He's spending hours in these things. This guy really does his due diligence, and I think he's going to demand that of the people that work for him in the new media organization that he's creating. And that's something that I myself would love to be a part of. That's something I want to see. I'll be a part of it, even if it's just supporting them and watching them. Even if I don't disagree with everything, I want real news. I want people fact-checking, not people click-checking and seeing how many likes and shares they can get based on an outrage headline. I'm tired of that. And all these isms that make it so easy. You can hide behind the isms and it makes it so much easier to come in with full force. Politico, another place that just turned itself into garbage. These places are turning themselves into garbage. Fox, as you see over here, Fox was garbage already. Fox had been destroyed already. And the memes help destroy Fox as well. Fox is very susceptible. But the memes are getting dropped on everyone. And Google, back here, Fox is its own powerhouse because it was representing the right-wing media, and they hedged against Trump too. Things are a little different since Roger Ailes got kicked out for being a fucking creepy-ass bitch. And Google runs a lot of the internet. Google has the best platform for YouTubers making money, none of which I make. I'm not worried about that. I just want opinions out of it. That's also why I'm not trying to edit a bunch of videos and really trying to get it. I want, if people type in a question, I want to be able to have a video that answers that question with some good evidence. And that's why I'm here. As much as I'm like, no one's watching this, I think it's important, and it's out here. And you have these guys here. See, you got the Illuminati, and honestly, that could just be anybody. It's just whoever's running things. It could be Saudi Arabia. It could be the deep state. It could be global financiers who everyone trusts their money into. It could be the combination of all three. I don't know. You don't know. But there is people out there that have power and are watching over these organizations here and also somewhat controlling them. But at the same time, they're not controlling every other power. You think Google doesn't have some leverage against whoever those people are? Just with their technological prowess alone, like the things that they're able to create. They're their own entities. And then you have 4chan up here, fucking everything up for everybody in the best way possible. I love Pepe. And you're not going to turn Pepe into a white supremacist. You're mad because Pepe was so effective against you. Because Pepe made you look ridiculous. When you can put a face to a fact and make yourself look fucking dumb and retarded like the autistic screeching. And no offense to dumb or retarded people. I can be very dumb and retarded myself many times. And you have PewDiePie not giving a fuck. He's destroying. He's on another level. You're over here trying to do this, and he's way the fuck up here on a wrecking Pepe. Fucking your shit up. And you thought you can call him a Nazi? People in your universe think he's a Nazi. J.K. Rowling thinks he's a Nazi. All of you are okay with calling this man, who the entire YouTube community knows is not a Nazi, a Nazi. Your credibility has been completely decimated and destroyed because of that. You want to know where the catalyzing moment is? Look up New York Times. You created it. You created this catalyzing moment. That was the separation. That's where battle lines were drawn. Because you attacked an innocent person, not just any innocent person, the biggest YouTuber in history, who's getting far more views than you, as I showed in one of my other videos. And you people don't know what to do. Because it's just so silly. It's just silly memes. You don't understand. You don't get it. And that's okay. But if you're going to attack it, at least try to understand it. So to anyone that listened to that, I hope you watch my channel. If not, if you ever have a question, type it in there and see if I answered it. Hope to make this documentary soon. And I think it's a story that needs to be told because too many people don't even know that this story is existing and it's literally deciding the fate of the world. So I'll leave you with that. Peace.